right, the next phase of your film will be your final mix and your export. And WeVideo is a little bit limited. Normally, we would have audio meters in a digital editor that would show us what our audio levels are going to be, regardless of where it's being played back. And that's usually our reference to understand whether or not a clip is too loud or too soft. And WeVideo doesn't have that, so we have to do it by ear. And so what we're going to do is we're going to base everything around our interview audio for an audio mix in WeVideo. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that that on your computer your volume is at about the midway point. So your playback volume is at about the midway point. And then you're going to play back some interview audio and make sure that it is loud enough to hear, but not too loud to be uncomfortable.
Lots of new farmers coming up in Athens County, and it's great. They're producing all of these wonderful fruits and vegetables, but I know that some places I shop even, not everybody could actually make that feasible. Not everybody has the resources to.
Everything else is going to be set relative to this. So one of the cool things that WeVideo offers is track level volume. And notice here on video 1, I only have my audio interview. And so what I can do is I can raise and lower all of those interview audio clips at the same time. So if all of your interview audio clips are right around the same, which they should be because you recorded it at the same time, you can lower them if they're too loud, or you can boost them beyond 100% if they're too quiet.
To purchase all of this fresh local food. So the overarching purpose of the donation.
So that feels about right. And again, my playback volume is about midway, and that would model how somebody would hear it if their playback volume on their computer or on their phone was about midway. That way, if it was too quiet on their phone, they would be able to turn it up, or if it was just too loud and uncomfortable, they'd have room to turn it down. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to go to where other audio is, and that's going to be in our natural break area. So if we come to the first part of our natural break, we're going to go ahead and play back a segment.
How are your new pants? Okay, we're going to go to the farmer's market now.
Okay.
Set up.
Awesome. All right, now all of this volume seems to be okay, but I am going to make some adjustments, and the adjustments in this area of the film are going to be done clip by clip. So this one is a little bit loud. There's some metal scraping on the ground. It's an uncomfortable sound. So if that's a little too much, we're going to go ahead and bring this volume down a little bit. Maybe bring it down to about 38%. We'll see if that plays out. It doesn't have to be precise. And then, of course, there is dialogue here.
Grab your coffee and come on over to the donation station.
So in this one, what I might do is just lower that just a little bit because she's yelling. Bring this down to a little bit softer. And that feels right. It feels like the audio of my nap break relative to the audio of my interview. It seems like if somebody were listening to this, they wouldn't need to make a volume adjustment going from one part of my film to another. Now, music, whenever you bring music into a digital editor, it's always really, really loud. And so notice here in my audio track, I put my music, the only thing that's in my audio track down here is music. And I went ahead and I dropped this, and this is like 20%. So even though this volume line is full, it's all the way at the top, the overall global change is only playing back at about 20% volume. So I encourage you to put your music in a separate audio track so that you can make one change to it and not have to make multiple changes to it for every time a clip appears, especially if you're using only one track of music in a short span. Now the only tricky part here is where I have multiple sounds playing, and that is my second nap break. I've got music, I've got natural sounds from the environment, and then they mix with interview audio right at this point here. So I'm going to go ahead and play back a sample and just kind of see how all those sounds blend together.
Distribution is really exciting. It's a really great feeling to see kind of, at least at my job.
Okay, I like the music relative to the interview audio and the spoken word there, but I think all of these other sounds feel a little bit loud in the natural break here. So I might spend some time going through and lowering that volume level because relative to the music, they are a little bit loud, especially this sound of the car pulling up. So if I did that, I would go and I would drop all of these volume levels down just a little bit, or I might raise up my music just a little bit. And then as well too, when Andrea's audio comes back in at this point, hers is the most important sound. So if that means that what you need to do is add a couple more keyframes to your music and drop this down a little bit when her speech comes back in, be prepared to do that. So all kinds of adjustments that are to be made, but really for WeVideo, unfortunately, since we don't have audio meters to trust the scientific measurement of the volume of a clip, we have to do it by ear. But again, set your playback on your computer while you're editing to about halfway, and then go by ear and make sure that just all the sounds are balanced and that we can hear the interview audio and hear all the other components as well.